First and foremost, our health center team has a mobile support person, Nancy, who's going to be available throughout the day. If anyone feels a need to speak to someone about things on your mind, things you're thinking about, please see the team at the health center, and I believe they are at a table on my right-hand side. And from there, let's talk about safety, because here at Clayton today, it's always about safety. If a member requires assistance during the AGM, please see Elder Kenora or Membership Coordinator Tammy, and they will know where you can go to get the help that you need throughout the day. If you happen to hear an alarm, kind of like one of those emergency alarms here in the Civic Center, please assist our elders and youth exit the Civic Center in a safe manner. And please proceed then out of the building to the Civic Center Plaza, and we'll assemble there, make sure that everybody's accounted for if in fact something happens here inside the building. We got to keep our kids safe. They are the leaders of the future. So for all the parents and guardians with us today, please keep an eye on your children. Keep them safe and under control, out of respect for everybody here in the assembly. All right, table 45, is that you guys talking? Yeah, I've got security keeping an eye on table 45. Way too enthusiastic for a Sunday morning. Respect for each other. We always respectfully request members to respect everyone all the time. Clayton is about respect, and that's never going to change. The purpose of today's AGM, of course, is to allow Chief Counsel and Administration to share information with you, and at the same time, 5 times during the program, we're going to have a question answer that allows members to ask questions, respectful questions of Chief Counsel and our administration. It's a two-way communication. Remember, this is your AGM. We've got 5 opportunities, as I mentioned, through the program to ask questions, and that hopefully will provide plenty of time to get questions on the floor. Don't forget, though, this year, Chief and Counsel are going to be sitting at each table, and they're going to rotate through the day so that members can have a council member at their table, and that'll provide you another opportunity to ask questions. And of course, you can always respectfully approach council members or our senior administration at the health breaks, during lunch, and have a chat with them about the things on your mind. Now, if there's a question today that one of you has that we don't have an answer to, because it might require some research or checking of financial records, whatever it may be, we are going to have a staff person come to you, ask you respectfully for your name and contact information. Then our staff next week, the week after, will get the answer to your question. And what we're going to do this year, first time ever that I recall, we're going to post all your questions that we couldn't answer today on your Facebook page and your website, and so that all members can see the answers to those questions as well. So we'll do that 2 ways. You'll get a direct contact from one of our Clayton staff with the answer. Then we're going to post those up. We'll call them AGM questions and answers. All righty, what else about live streaming? You know, as hard as Chief Counsel and Administration try, we can never, ever get all members gathered at the same time at the same place, because people are busy, living elsewhere, whatever the reason may be. We're going to live stream today's proceedings, at least the business portion, and that'll take us to about 3 o'clock after Sonia gives us an update on a couple of projects she's working on, so that members can either tune in live and feel a part of the AGM, or the good news is that's recorded and it sits on your Facebook page so that members can review it anytime they want. And with no Canucks game tonight, there should be plenty of time throughout the day for members who may be working today or have other things going on in their lives to see what happened during the 2024 AGM. Now, something brand new. And you see one of my new best friends right to my left here. We have sign language interpreters with us. And would you please give me a warm round of applause? Join me in thanking Kristen and Larissa, who are going to be with us all day. And now a very special story. We are going to ask one of the members who lives in the Yukon, who traveled here today with his family to attend the AGM. Would you please give a warm welcome to Mr. Neil Bird to come up and say hello and bring us warm welcomes from the Yukon.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Neil Bird, and I'm happy to be here today. So this is the first time that we've had a deaf person come to the AGM, and I was the first one to request interpreters to come to this meeting, and we have 2 interpreters here today. And maybe some of your family members are hard of hearing or deaf, and maybe you weren't aware that we could have interpreters at these meetings. And again, if anyone has any questions about, deaf culture or deaf history, feel free to approach me. I'm happy to talk about that. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Neil, and thank you, Christine and Larissa. And welcome. Thank you for bringing your family and warm greetings from the Yukon. People think of Claytley as Claytley territory only. No, no, no. There are Claytley members from one end of this country and continent to the next, and it's great to have Neil and his family join us here from a little further north of your traditional territory. All right, a few more housekeeping items, and then we'll get on with some rousing music from our cast hand drummers. AGM minutes. We are very honored this year to have Dr. Teresa Healy over to my left, and Dr. Healy from UNBC is going to be taking our AGM minutes. And of course, Teresa, we thank you for joining us today and performing this very important task for us so that we have a record of everything that happens today. Draw prizes. My goodness, what's an AGM without draw prizes? Oh my goodness. You have more ways to win prizes at a Claytley AGM than I think any other event that I'm aware of. So a couple of things. When you registered, and for those who may not have registered yet, please do so, because our administrative team has a whole bunch of great prizes that names of members will be drawn for throughout the day. We're not going to keep them right to the last part of the day. We'll do them at intervals throughout the day. And so you want to make sure you're all registered. Then if that wasn't good enough, all of our departments have gone out and purchased some really cool prizes. So you've got to take time to wake up Domo there at the fisheries desk. Hey, former chief, and see what Domo's got for prizes and make sure you enter his draw. And then you've got, a cool hat. Look, you can be seen from one end of the territory to the next in that fluorescent orange hat. All our departments have prizes. Go and get to know them. Oh, yes, and what about the great team? Let's give them a hand. LTN Contracting, your own logging and harvesting company, road building. They do it all there at LTN. And of course, they often have, I see a Canucks jersey and something there with Ethan Bear's name on it. Oh, my goodness. They always like to outdo the other departments here at Claytley. Anyway, make sure you drop by the LTN Contracting booth. Okay. So, you probably heard that you now have your own Claytley app. What other First Nation has their own app? I don't know. But you do. What you need to do is pick up one of these if you haven't registered to get the app downloaded on your phone. And if you follow the instructions here on the poster, you too can qualify for a prize, which I'm told will be determined for which member gets the app prize in about 2 weeks. But just follow the instructions. And I know Les Baker was struggling not with this one, but this next one. I mean, who on a Sunday morning is going to want to fill out 43 pages, 67 questions, and I can't even remember my middle name? But if you do take the time to fill out the members' questionnaire survey form, either old school by filling out the blanks with your pen and pencil, or through the QR code online, you too could win a prize. And of course, today is all about hearing from members, receiving your thoughts, ideas, feedback. And this is just one way to do it besides the conversations with our chief and council and our staff and administration. All righty. Okay, enough of some old colonial facilitator taking up the day talking. Did I hear applause for it's time for Kevin to get out of the way? What? Whoa, whoa, who's that? Table 45? I thought we were friends. Yeah, apparently not. It lives and dies so quickly. Would you please at this time give a warm Clayton welcome to our own Cashtan drummers?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for having us here. We are the Cashtan Drum Group. Cashtan means fireweed. And just before we start, I want to do a moment of silence for many of our members that have passed on through the last couple of years. So if you could please remove your hats and all stand if you can. And we'll go right into the drumming after that. So we'll start now. Thank you very much. And just remember as we go throughout the day how each of those ones that we are missing today, that they meant a lot to us, and their ideas and their thoughts were unfinished. And we're here today to bring forth some of their ideas that they wanted to be completed.
All right, so we just want to introduce our songs. So the first song in honor of those who've passed, and as well for those who are traveling, is the traveling song, and it's Anna Schnabe song. And it's often sung at funerals, but also sung at different times for ensuring people safe travel. So the traveling song. All right, and our second song that we're going to sing is a local song. It's called Morse Qua's Lament. So I'm sure many of you know it out there, so feel free to sing it and dance to uplift us in our spirits today, to get us through this wonderful day. So Morse Qua was a former member of Clayton Tenay. He was a chief at one point for our nation. As well, he had, the story is recounting his story around his second wife who came from Nakasli. So the lament part in the song is him crying because she's decided to go back home. So she came to Clayton, missed her family, decided to go back to Nakasli. And so in the song, you'll hear the names of the various nations that are called out. Typically in large gatherings, when there's multi-nations coming together from our communities, they would dance when their nation is called out. So if you're someone from one of those nations, feel free to stand up and dance in the spot or come all the way up here if you're from the back. So Morse Qua's Lament.
Stella,
Cashtan drummers, everyone. Jen.
All right, so thank you all for participating and coming all this way. I just wanted to say a couple things. That song has the word goodbye in it, which isn't traditional in our language. We say Nanyu Stansi, and that means I'll see you again. So in that song, it kind of dates the song to After Contact. Also, the Clately members that came up and danced, if you have never witnessed that before, in a lot of scenarios, if you're singing and the nations come up, they'll dance and bring money up to honor the drummers for the work that they're doing. So that's why our council members danced up with the money for us. And so thank you very much. I also want to recognize and honor our Clately members that joined us today that have been part of our drum group on and off over the past 15 years. So thank you for joining us today. It was an honor. Snachalya.
Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Thank you, that's Clately. Now I'm sensing some Clately energy here today. And it's not just from table 45. Thank goodness for that. Once again, thank you, Cashtan drummers, everyone. Great way to start the day. Posing for photos? No, we've got an AGM to get to. And Brenda says $90 was contributed to the drummers for that opening drum song. So thank you to the contributors. Thank you, Cashtan drummers. Okay, back to the stage. Great. Thank you, everyone. We also have with us throughout the day representatives of the Indian Residential School Survivors Society. They are here throughout the day to support Clately members and family members, emotional, cultural supports, and there is one of the representatives of IRSSS out front who would be happy to smudge. If any Clately member would like to be smudged, just look for the person out front of the Civic Center in the green shirt. And again, our health center team has folks available throughout the day should anybody wish to speak to somebody about something on your mind. Okay, now let's get to the annual updates from our chief and council. And this will be followed by a question and answer. So I'm going to ask you to listen carefully to Chief and our council members' opening remarks, things that they want to share with you, and then we'll have a Q&A before we take our first break of the morning in about an hour or so. If my job's to keep you on time, I'm failing miserably already. But we're going to move things along. And the first person, as always, I'm going to ask to get us started with opening remarks. Please give a warm Clately welcome to Chief Darlene Logan.
So, I don't know, is this working? Hadi, can you hear? Hadi? I guess I have to come closer?
Yes, bring him in, bring him in.
Okay, bring the mics in. Okay. So Hadi, welcome everyone to the 2024 Clately Days AGM. It is great to see everybody in person. I want to give a big shout out to those who took the time out to travel to be here with us today. And just because you live outside of our territory does not make you Clately. Once Clately, you're always Clately, forever. On, off reserve, living elsewhere, anywhere, we're always Clately. I especially want to thank everyone giving up their May long weekend to be with us. I know May long weekend's the first weekend everyone gets out to go camping before the firebrands come on. So. I want to send my deepest condolences to all the families that have lost loved ones recently. We had a couple weeks, for those who don't know, that hit Clately fairly hard. Within, I guess, 2 weeks, we lost Haley John, Carla Qua, Janice Carpenter. And in between there, we had Jordan Contoise's Botlats. with members passing, it just shows how short life is. Some of them go too soon, way too soon. I think they all go way too soon. But life is short. We have to be positive, stick together, and look to the future. Don't look at the past. Learn from the past, move forward, and be there for one another. And positives, thinking positive, that's the best. Moving forward in the positive. And I can't think of a more better way to think of the positives of all the babies being born. We have Lainey Darlene, Miller Boyer, Mary Ogier had a little baby, Oakley. We have Naya Seymour, she just turned 1. And Jada Joseph, she's 1.5. I had cousins come up and show me pictures of babies and just like, look at, there's my new baby. And I'm like, okay, it's a mini-me, but I didn't get their names. So these babies, these kids, these are our future. This is our future of Clayton Tenay. And I want to say to all the new babies, welcome. And to all the parents, congratulations. We had one lady who had to cancel coming today because she's pregnant with twins. She's not allowed to travel. So I think she's online. If she's online, hi. Can't wait to see the pictures. So, okay, let's move forward. Okay, I will start with reviewing some of my highlights for 2023's since the AGM of last year. And then, okay, soon after we were elected in, I was invited to NASCO to perform their swearing-in ceremonies for their chief and council. It was the first time in NASCO's history that they've ever held a swearing-in, and I was greatly honored that they asked me to come to facilitate it. And then, in return, we asked Chief Leah Stump to come witness and be part of our swearing-in, which she did. And attending each other's important events supports the work that we have done recently to strengthen the relationship between our communities. We included SICAs when elders from 3 of communities got together. So we had an elders meeting, we had 3 communities, we had Clayton Tenay, NASCO, and SICAs all come together with the elders at our hall, and it was a long time coming, and I think it was one of our greatest accomplishments, elders getting together, and it was an amazing sight to see. So when we stand together, governments and industry tend to focus on benefits and progress versus trying to divide us and then watch us fight each other. That's what they like to do, divide us. So I was honored to be asked to witness the collaboration agreement signing in our territory last spring, again at our hall, with chiefs from Sims, Gixagukla, and Binche. They committed to work together to take back control of the child welfare matters from the Ministry of Child and Family Development. During the ceremony, SIMP offered to provide support to Clayton Tenay, and we have been slowly working with SIMP. We're working on an MOU to work with them. As I said before, and I keep saying before, First Nations are always stronger when we stand together, share our knowledge and expertise, and support each other, as we have done for thousands of years. And by working as partners versus enemies, First Nations will decide what happens in our territories on our unceded lands. The good news for us is that most of the government and industry support us and want to work with us as true partners. Once council and lands authority members were sworn in late April, we're ready to get to work. So this is no sooner than we started. We got a letter stating that we were under appeal, which an appeal was filed. So we kind of went into like a caretaker mode. There's no policy on it, but it's common sense and good governance that we don't make any major decisions during that time. So, and then we waited, and we had to wait because we didn't know what was going to happen, if we were going to another election or not. So it come back saying that we were good, it was good to go. So the good news is, what we learned from that is that we're getting a new electoral officer. We're in the process, TOFIC's in the process of interviewing electoral officers. Oh, yeah. And then council decided we needed a new administrative leadership. So we were pleased when Tofik offered to step in and to be acting executive director while we had the job posted. And then Tofik was the lucky recipient of winning the position. I'll let him fill you in on how he likes being executive director for Claytley Tenay. The second, on National Day of Truth and Reconciliation on September 30th, for the first time in Canadian junior football history, Prince George Kodiaks became the Claytley Tenay Kodiaks. We're giving out the jerseys. Yes. The jerseys or the hoodies that you have were designed by Kim Gucci, our band member, for those who don't know. They're beautiful. It was a sight I will never forget when at the end of the game, over 60 elders and youth, all single-filed, walked out onto the football field and handed the players little drums and bracelets, and in return, the players handed the elders and students their jerseys. And the kids were so happy, even though they stunk so bad, those jerseys. They did stink really bad, but they loved it. It was a great day. And and in reconciliation and milestone would be the Spruce Kings. Also had a Truth and Reconciliation game in September, and many of our members attended the second annual Indigenous Hockey Night hosted by the Prince George Cougars in January. I was fogged in Victoria, so I couldn't make it. But luckily, our council members were there, our members are there, and one of our, I guess, young men, Trent Seymour, was there to drop the puck. Yeah, go for Trent. Okay, these partnerships with some of the top teams in town signal a new era for reconciliation in our territory and our home community of Prince George. Just the same as the partner agreements with the Prince George Chamber of Commerce, the Prince George Airport Authority, the Caledonia Ski Club. And council meets with the board of these organizations once and twice a year, and the result in collaborations are visible. In February, the Claytley Tenay flag was raised at the airport, and the Claytley Tenay history displayed in the terminal to celebrate. In February as well, for the first time ever, the BC Family and Claytley Tenay Day at Nordic Center was held. Several of our members attended. Some learned how to cross-country ski. We had Tashina and Kevin Brown tobogganing down a hill. It was a great day. In June, our partners with the PG Chambers will result in the first ever joint hosting the True North Forum here in Prince George. This annual economic gathering brings together Indigenous government, industry, business, and community leaders to discuss how to grow the northern BC economy together. Again, it's a small step forward for truth and reconciliation, but the positive is it's a step forward. In late September, our council met with the Prince George City Council and the Board of Regional Districts. For the first time, we had C2C, council-to-council gathering. And then in late October, the city senior staff and regional district seasonal staff, staff met with our staff, again, at our hall, to better understanding and efficiencies. Okay. These events were a direct result of the GDG government-to-government monthly meetings that are held since the summer of 2020. Our long-standing partnership with Exploration Place resulted in our being announced as recipients of the Truth and Reconciliation Award in Victoria, where Tracy Caligaros and myself went down to accept this award. With each of these gatherings and special events comes a higher provincial and national profile for our nation. With the increased profile comes more opportunities for us. In January, Premier Eby announced significant funding so we can conduct and engage a process for the Northern First Nations and local governments. This is the direct result of Council supporting the new Centre of Excellence for Children and Youth to be located here in our territory. Currently, children and youth requiring special assessments and services for addictions and mental health support must travel to Vancouver or Victoria. We want to find a way to keep them home, get the help they need at home. We have felt for some time that the present additional hardships for Northern families, and the Premier agrees with us. Our increased profile has also resulted in several opportunities for me to share our stories this year. Wendy and I and our 3 for industrial partners spoke, we were at the natural resources panel. We sat on the panel, and the thing was how to move nations forward. And to move nations forward is through partnerships, because we can't do it alone. We need the partnerships. We don't have the capacity. We don't have the funding. And that's how Clayton is moving forward, is with partnerships. In February, I was invited to speak at the Forestry Council, to be on a panel there as well. And I got to tell you, that was the most intimidating panel I have ever been on. I was on there with Chief Clarence Louis and Chief Robert Louis, and the both of them combined have been chiefs for over 50 years. So it was quite an honor for myself. Extremely intimidating, because they walked up and said, "Oh, I've been chief for 30 years, I've been chief for 25 years," and I got up and said, "Okay, I've been chief in just about 3 years now." Because we are known provincially as a forestry nation, which embraces sustainable forest management that includes traditional values, we get invitations to speak at these conferences. The same goes for our support to move towards a more green energy development. In March, the province of BC asked me to speak on a panel at the Globe Conference in Vancouver to share the story of why we support the green energy. Again, it is an important opportunity to share our vision for sustainable environment and vibrant economic for the world. Moving forward this year, we will build on our success from the past years and continue to work started by previous chiefs and councils. You will hear soon about our child care development, or child care center. If you haven't seen it, it's fabulous. The last year, the leaders of Camp Trapping decided to give us the property and the buildings with encouragement to determine its future's use. For those of you who don't know what Camp Trapping was, some of you do. It used to be a youth containment center, youth prison out south of Prince George. So it's a beautiful place, and hopefully we'll be able to figure out what to do with it and to move forward and to put more pictures and stuff up on our website. We're working closely with 4 other nations to get the best deal we can for BC Hydro voltage power lines from Prince George to Terrace. So Hydro will be doing partnerships with First Nations along the corridor. And this will be a huge benefit for Clayton as we are in phase 1. We will continue working with Canfor and Carrier Lumber on forestry initiatives in our territory and benefit all parties. We will continue working with RBS on their biofuels project currently under construction. We met with them, so it's for aviation fuel for RBS, so hopefully by July we'll have the first samples. And we're working with Fortescue on a hydrogen project. We're having a little bumps in the roads there because for the call for power. They need a lot of power for this business, and we're still trying to make sure we get enough of them. On Tuesday, I was in Victoria talking to the minister, or Premier Eby, about our future for forestry and the hydro Fortescue, and threw in the bridge in there. It was a good meeting. I think we had a good impact on decisions on what way to move forward. Let's see what else. Oh, and the kids, I mentioned the kids before. They're our future. And I want to congratulate everyone that's graduating this year that's in the room or online from grade 12, post-secondary, or trades, whatever you are. I want to say congratulations to you all. We're proud of you. Okay, our youth and all our graduates, you're our future. And we owe it to you to provide the support and a bright future as we possibly can. I am in the view that our nation is in an incredible, positive place, and the future looks bright for us. We are respected as leaders in forestry and the green energy and caring for our kids and our community. I have to tell you, I've talked to quite a few chiefs, and I let them know about our membership and how much we have grown. This is another positive. We went from 460, I think we're at 8. How much are we at now?
822.
822 band members. And I was just speaking to one of the chiefs just lately, and he asked how many people came to our last AGM, and we told him over 600 people walked through the sign-in sheets. And he was absolutely floored. He was totally amazed. And then we were like, well, don't you bring your members home? He goes, yeah, we do, but we only get 20 to 40 people, and they have the same size band as we do. And I said, well, to me that shows that our community cares, and they want to be with each other. They want to say hi, face to face, and not on Facebook. And so we amazed him with the total of numbers of people that attend our meetings. I had to let him know that during election time, we have 85% of our voters come out. And that's unheard of, like, in any level of government. Okay. So again, I'd like to thank everybody that was here today. And I hope you have a great day, and I hope you get to visit with some people you haven't seen for a very long time. And I wanted a very special shout out to all our elders that came out today. And a special shout out to our Elder Society. I hope some of our elders get to come meet some of our members of the Elder Society. So thank you, and I hope you have a great day.
Great. Thank you very much, Chief Logan. Now we will hear from our other councillors, and I think we'll just go right next. Yeah. And please keep the microphone very close, council members, so that our members at the back of the room, don't forget table 45, they're kind of rowdy. They might be trying to speak, yeah, whatever. Anyway, let's hear from Councillor Crystal Gibbs next.
All right. Hello. Hello. Hello, everybody. I can honestly say that no matter how many times I'm in front of the room, I don't think it ever gets any easier. I'm still just as nervous as the first time. First off, I'd like to thank Elder Veronica Seymour for the welcoming, and to Neil Bird as well. I would also like to extend my gratitude to the cast stand drummers for opening us up in a good way. It was beautiful. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces as well as new faces. It's been some time since we've all gathered. It's a beautiful sight to see for so early. I can just imagine what it's going to be like at lunchtime. Welcome, everyone. I also want to extend a huge warm welcome to all of our new membership. We are now over 800 members. I think it is. It's around 822. The last we were told. And I guess I wouldn't necessarily say new members. I would say members coming back home. I would also like to take a minute to express my condolences to everyone grieving at this time. As Chief and Kevin mentioned, as well as the drummers for the moment of silence, our nation has suffered some very tremendous loss. I'll start off. This term has been a little different than my last. We started with a little bit of a hiccup, as Chief Logan mentioned, and then of course the more recent news. But it's my feeling that things are going to continue moving forward in a positive direction, because that is exactly what we are up here to do. This term, I've taken on the health portfolio, meaning I work alongside with our awesome health team. I attend all sub-regional as well as regional health caucuses as a voting proxy. One of the initiatives I've been working on with some of our elders' knowledge and our health manager, Tamara Seymour, is also with Jen Coleman, our nurse, is with BC Cancer and their executive director, Ann Case. Our group's focus is on supporting trauma-informed care, including decolonizing BC Cancer, by creating safe spaces. We are still in the beginning stages of this table, but I do see some really good things coming out of it. I also still sit alongside with Councillor Seymour on education in a limited capacity, particularly with the development of our new and updated education post-secondary policy. We're also working on renewing our MOU agreement with UMBC. This agreement will be more beneficial for Lheidli-T'enneh. Presently, it is in draft form, but we're hoping to have it signed by Chief Logan and the president of UMBC by the end of the school year. So that'll be pretty exciting. I'm also still a member of the Indigenous Education Leadership Table. Our table deals with education issues within School District 57 at the Board of Trustees level. I am the chair of Lands Authority and one of the board of directors for Tourism Prince George, so I do wear many different hats. With that being said, there will be numerous question and answer periods, but if anybody doesn't feel comfortable in the setting, we are all here all day long if you wanted to come and we could ask the question or answer a question, and if we can't, we'll find somebody that can. I do have a couple of little side notes. We have a few surveys, as Kevin had mentioned. One by our health manager, Tamara Seymour. It's at her table. It's the health and wellness survey. Your input's so important. It's the last step in completing Lheidli's health and wellness plan. Also at the table, you can register for this year's Moccasin Walk, which will be held June 8th on the north side, starting at the health center, same route as last year. And another survey is at our lands table, which is the survey many of you have already completed online. Actually, the completion rate is pretty substantial right now. I'm pretty impressed, but there's also a very cool barbecue that is being raffled with that draw, so make sure everybody gives their input. And there is also a regional health survey outside, which is First Nations Health Authority, Lance Potskin, will be doing that survey. Again, it's very important to get membership input because it does concern all of us. And that's it for me for now. Masad, thank you, and I'll pass it on to Wendy.
Thank you, Councillor Gibbs. And over to you, Councillor Wendy Jail, without a jacket, but she says she's warm enough, and I'll just leave it right there. Wendy.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for attending. It's a great pleasure, as always, to see everybody new, and all the elders that we have, all the little kids too. Awesome, it's good to see. Ouch.
You're electrifying. You always have been electrifying. Okay, I think it's safe. You can continue.
Okay, well, anyways, welcome everybody. Okay. Our is a growing nation with a huge territory and a growing list of needs. I think it's great for us to be able to meet in person and discuss our positive future. My day job involves my work in social assistance and supporting our members. So I help with the social assistance, it's like helping clients to get by in between jobs and stuff and try to make things as simple and as easy as I can for them throughout the year. Like sometimes I can't always do it, but you know, there is times when there is a need, and please don't feel ashamed or anything because we all go through it one way or another. We're all special. So, yeah. I also come to enjoy my work with Chief and Council since being elected last year. It's been quite a ride. I enjoyed every minute of it. I learned lots. It's very, very rewarding to see everybody smile and just be together on times like this. And also when we have like loss, like I also want to give my condolences to all the families that are here today that had lost loved ones just recently. Chief often asks me to accompany her to meetings with government and industry representatives, which I also enjoy because I learn lots there too. Like, it's a learning curve every day. You never, ever get bored. You learn. One way or another, they'll slap you if you don't pay attention too, so. This allows me to learn more about new opportunities for our nation. But I also learn more about some of the challenges facing our nation and other First Nations. Challenges such as limited funding for housing, water systems, and other needs. Challenges such as homelessness, addictions, and general lack of support for people with mental health issues. I have come to realize that the journey on the road to reconciliation with governments and industries will take a lot longer than I had hoped. On the brighter side, I had the opportunity in January to join Chief on the stage here at the Civic Center along with 3 of our industry partners. We talked about our positive businesses partnerships, what those mean to Clayton Tene, as Chief has given you a semi-rundown of that when we were on the panel. We talked about our moving towards more sustainable forest management and reflects of our traditional values. And we talked about one of the key economic priorities that is development of cleaner and greener energy. Our nation has been here for the past 9,000 years, and I believe strongly that we will be here at least 9,000 more, if not more, years to come. We will do this by working together as a nation, support our youth, and taking care of all our elders. Thank you, and I look forward to visiting you all throughout the day. Merci.
Councillor Wendy Jail, everyone. Electrifying as always. Thank you so much, Wendy. Next up is Councillor Kyle McIntosh, who, you know, did his part along with his partner to contribute to the growth of your nation. But, you know, we're not here to talk about family today. Councillor McIntosh.
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here today. Makes me happy everyone made it here safe and sound. I'd like to send a heartfelt welcome to everybody here in attendance and send out my deep condolences to those who have lost family members over this last month and year. And for those of you joining on Zoom,
Please bring the mic in.
and for those of you joining on Zoom, I'm glad you could make it here virtually as well. So this is my first term on council, and it's been a very steep learning curve. I'm enjoying every bit of it, though, as each day brings a new priority and could change within a minute. So I come to appreciate listening. As I was once told, you learn more from listening than talking, which I think is sound advice. As council, I'm very proud to be part of moving our nation forward, and everything we do is for our nation's future. I am a specialist project manager for our nation, so I'd like to just give a little history on kind of how it started. My very first project was the House of Ancestors. For those of you who know, we converted the old Odeon Movie and Theatre into a conference hall located downtown on Vancouver Street. My next project was the Health Centre. When I think back to the Health Centre project, there's some days when I wondered if we'd ever get it finished. We had to manage through the COVID pandemic, which was during the first year, was changed quickly and constantly. Then came additional obstacles, including road bans at the most inconvenient of times. Add weather challenges, cost escalations due to supply chain. It was quite the undertaking. We officially received occupancy in 2022, so it's a very nice day for that. Every day I'm on the north side, I think to myself, finally it's done and it's ours. A safe, modern facility for members to go receive health care, wellness support that they deserve. Exactly what our nation's needed for years. But while we're dealing with the challenges with the Health Centre project, along comes the announcement of funding to build a child centre. It's great news, right? The provincial government committed to providing us $3 million for the build. We would then design a building to provide care up to 74 children, which was, another fantastic part of, which adds, Prince George really needs, Clayton really needs childcare at this time. So when the project came to my desk, I was literally given a crayon picture of what the daycare should look like. It consisted of a box with 4 different colors. There's not much to work off. I just had over a month to secure funding, and thankfully I was able to pull the rabbit out of my hat and we received the funding. But the project came while we were still learning to cope with COVID and trying to complete the health center. This resulted in a 2-year delay for the start of the project, which we also had to go back to the Ministry of Children and Family Development for more money due to cost escalations. And thankfully they said yes. I've learned a valuable lesson through both projects that I take with me to the council table. Perseverance pays off. We expect the Child Care Centre to be completed this summer. We are currently recruiting a director of operations who will supervise the staff around 30. There will be spots available for Clayton kids, of course, as we'll be planning to provide 24/7 care for the future and for shift workers. We expect recruitment and training of staff to occur this fall. With luck, we'll be open for business early before the new year. It is located close to Exploration Place near the site of our former village. The design incorporates a ton of natural light and wood throughout the building, and there's nothing else like it in Prince George, and I'm already hearing that we may be up for some design awards. It's a great honor to be part of these projects, as they'll be standing for generations, and to know that I was part of it. It will fill my children and great-grandchildren with pride knowing that their dad, grandfather, had a huge part in these projects. So with that, I will be around all day if anybody has any questions and to elaborate on, and hope everybody enjoys their day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor McIntosh. Next up, please welcome Councillor Joshua Seymour.
I don't get a cool introduction, Kevin.
Go on at length, but I won't.
Yeah. Bandara Hunzu. Can I get everyone to repeat after me? I want everyone to say bun, dada, hun, zoo. That's how we say good morning at Clayton today. So, bandara hunzu.
Bandara hunzu.
There. I always like to start off with a little bit of learning. I want to thank Elder Veronica Seymour for opening us in a good way, and I want to thank all of you for being here with us on your long weekend. It's a privilege to work for you and to represent you as your council member. And I want to thank the Castan drummers for opening us in a good way. If I'm not mistaken, I think the Castan drummers are accepting applications for new drummers. Is that true? So if any people here want to reconnect with their culture and learn the songs and learn the music and the drumming, Brenda and the Castan drummers would welcome you with open arms because we need more of that music and culture within our territory. So my portfolio as a counselor is actually focused on education. One of the things that we've been working on for education is actually the policy. We have been working diligently to update the post-secondary policies to reflect the current state of education and Clayton Tenay's needs. We hope to have the first draft in the near future, which will include a section for accommodations for students who have been diagnosed with a condition that may limit their ability to attend under full-time schedule definitions in our current policies. So basically, if there are students who have limitations due to health or a diagnosis, they're going to be offered the exact same opportunity as the rest of the students. In School District 57, I work with Crystal, and we sit on the Indigenous Education Leadership Table, the IELT. So the IELT, which is a coalition of Clately Tenay and the McLeod Lake Indian Band leaders, we've effectively changed how BC school districts engage Indigenous communities. It also changed the School Act through Bill 40, where a model agreement between Indigenous communities and school districts are laid out, which is reflective of the IELT structure. So the government basically seen what the IELT was doing and used a lot of those points to engage Indigenous communities, and they're mandating all the school districts to follow the same suit. And as of recently, actually last week, we actually had another First Nation reach out to us in School District 29, and they had actually asked Clately Tenay and the ILT to join their nation in finding ways to fix the systematic racism and the quiet firing, because a lot of the districts are facing what School District 57, the issues that School District 57 was facing, and now they're reaching out to us to help them guide on how to fix their school districts. For UNBC, we are updating and creating a specific policy for UNBC, which will be tied directly to the Northern Promise Partnership, or NPP, which allows Clately Tenay people to attend UNBC tuition-free to earn a bachelor's degree. We are working towards updating the agreement to increase the number of students who can attend UNBC under the NPP. And this is also doing, and we're hoping that we can also take that cap off of the amount of students who can attend the NPP. And we are hoping to expand it to the master's and PhD programs at UNBC so that they can attend tuition-free if you're Clately Tenay. We're also discussing a student housing strategy for Clately Tenay students who attend UNBC to be a priority in student housing on campus. So for many of the people who have not grown up in the territory or haven't had a connection, and if you have a young person who's graduating, hopefully with this agreement they can come home, they can receive some of the student housing, and they actually attend the school within our territory to reconnect us all and that cultural connection to our people and to our land. I also sit on the Faculty of Business and Economics Advisory Board for UNBC and invited me to sit on their advisory board to offer an Indigenous worldview to current problems businesses are facing locally and nationwide. This is an amazing opportunity for our nation to participate in shaping business students' education. I am also working with the social work program at UNBC to create a strategy for Indigenous student recruitment and to recruit Indigenous faculty for the social work program. So not only are we looking at ways to get new Indigenous students in the program, but we're also trying to find a way that we can incorporate Indigenous faculty to teach the students who are coming up. CNC, we have had preliminary discussions with CNC to build a partnership similar to UNBC, and we're hoping that we can kind of get it reflective of the agreement we have there. And we are also revising the MOU with CNC because that'll be the first priority. With all the educational institutions in Clately Tenay, we are working towards equitable education for all Clately Tenay students while ensuring as a host nation our culture and history is incorporated into core foundations of all curriculum. I am working with the British Columbia Museums Association as a member of the Indigenous Advisory Council to help guide the museums and science centres of BC to operate and educate on public Indigenous matters correctly. I also represent Clately Tenay in the planning of the 2024 British Columbia Museum Association's annual assembly, which will be held in the territory in late September. And one of the personal things I want to discuss here is looking at community safety. In the past, I've been involved in emergencies in our community, and I was one of the people that helped administer first aid. And not having the proper equipment has created many what-if scenarios for me. I have decided to take the steps to ensuring our community safety by purchasing and donating an automatic external defibrillator, so an AED. The company I purchased the AED from, Rescue 7, felt compelled to help our community, and they matched my donation by donating an AED of their own. Our plan is to actually have the AED be accessible to both communities on the sides of the river, because we know that in order to get emergency services in our community, it can take up to half an hour. So these will be the first steps that we are taking towards community safety, to put community safety back in community hands. Looking at the green energy sector, as the previous councils and chief have discussed, the one thing that I am extremely proud of is the RBOS partnership that we have, because we had received an award for innovation in clean energy with the slash to SAF. So it's taking the slash from the forest and turning it into aviation fuel. And that is one of the many awards that Clayton has won in the last 2 years, and it's going to be the first of many to come. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Councillor Seymour. And next up, we have Councillor Robert Gagnon.
Banda Hunzu. Good morning to everybody. For this last year, I've been put in charge of the justice portfolio. And the portfolio is to deal with issues within our nation of safety, security. I also found myself being part of some Guardian resiliency fire training in this very center a couple of weeks ago to help protect and safeguard our community against wildfires. Adam has been working feverishly to build a community fire plan so that we have something. I also have been told by Adam that we have fire services now to the north side as well. So I think Shell Glen has agreed to provide fire services to us. About a month ago, I was asked to go down to Victoria and meet with Premier Eby, Minister Fleming, and some other ministers in the opposition caucus. In those meetings, I had an opportunity to speak about the bridge. So the bridge is a very, very big deal for our community. The bridge, if it's a double-lane bridge, will open up the wastewater part of it to move it from the north to the south. It would also present an opportunity for us to have schooling in the nation on reserve. And it also presents an opportunity for the city of Prince George to move what they have to on the bridge as well. So I think those talks went very well. We haven't got anything committed from the government yet, but I know Zawad is a brilliant, brilliant man, and he spoke very, very well for our nation, and I just wanted to publicly congratulate him for the hard work that he did for that bridge. I also had an opportunity to meet with Minister Fleming about Landus Road. Now, this has been a point of contention for the band for probably 50 years. We had a conversation about getting this road paved, and we haven't got a complete commitment from the government yet, but it appears that they are looking into some funding for the city of Prince George and the government of British Columbia to get that 4,300 meters paved from the pulp mill to the PG sawmills to the edge of the reserve. So I'm hoping that can get done by the end of this year. So that's another big thing that I've kind of been working on in the background. I've also been asked to sit on the Public Safety Committee with Simon Mayor Yu. One of our members, Miranda Seymour, I was talking to her earlier, she's sitting on this committee as well. And it's going to tackle the homelessness issue in the city of Prince George, which lies on the traditional territory of Lheidli-T'enneh. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I came here fully today expecting to resign my position. And the reason why is because I go from my father and what he has said when he was on council last time and not being heard. I enjoy working in this council because I work for you, the people who elected me. But the struggle is really real in this, and I have spoke with many, many people and asked for their advice. I'm not going to resign today. I'm going to stay on for the next 11 months. But I challenge every one of you to start working together, talking to one another constantly. We can't be ignoring one another anymore. I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. We have to work together. We have a lot of issues in our community right now. We're going to address them as the day goes on because it's going to come up. And when it does come up, we will deal with it as Lheidli T'enneh. We're strong people. My grandmother taught me very, very well. She taught me to be strong. She taught me to be open. She taught me to be truthful. And I think that's in every one of us because we're all together. We're all related to one another. And I know we've got it in us to get through all of this stuff. So I want to encourage you, during the day, talk to us. We'll talk back, but we're there for you. Masicho.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gagnon. Thank you to Chief and Council. How about a big hand? It's not always fun being up front, having to make the tough decisions, but you elected this group to lead you, and we thank them for sharing their updates with us to get our AGM going. Now it's your turn. Before we open up the mics, you'll see one microphone to my left, microphone one microphone to my right. What we ask our members to do is, if you have questions for Chief and Council for this segment of your AGM, you go to one of the microphones, I'll recognize you, and we'll allow you to ask your question. We ask members to limit one question at a time. I'll go back and forth between the microphones, and I just respectfully ask members to remind that today is not for speeches, but questions to your Chief and Council for this segment, and we'll share the answers, of course, through all the members through live stream and here. The lighting, just so all members know, to make sure that our live stream, so the members watching from home can see all of the action here at the front of the room. The lights will remain a little dimmer in the middle, but I'll do my best to see each of you who wants to. Look at our team from Russell Audiovisual. They've got a light on microphone one, and I'll bet you there'll be. So anybody wanting to ask a question, now is your time for this segment. And I would ask our members to, with questions, to do so at microphone 1 and 2. And I don't see any lineups yet. Any chance we can get a light at? Okay, I see someone at microphone 1, back to microphone 1. If you would just please quickly introduce yourself and then speak up and ask your question. And if it's to anyone specific on council, please just mention that person's name. Microphone 1.
This is not a question, but I'll introduce myself. Brenda Wilson John. I'm married to Clarence John, and I've been in the community for over 10 years. And I just want to say it's been a pleasant experience, and I've witnessed the resiliency of the nation, and also I've also witnessed the trauma that has happened throughout the community. But one thing I want to compliment Lheidli T'enneh is how they come together as a nation. And when there is trauma, when there is hardships, that you really are there to back each other up. And I sincerely want to thank Chief and Council, all the chiefs, all the council members in these last 10 years who have supported the Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women initiative. They've always been there to support us as family members who have had missing and murdered loved ones. Any initiatives that needed to be talked about within the nation, such as the monuments that go up or any events. I was so amazed with the support that we had with this last event on May 5th, how the council came together along with the Elder Society, who sat there and witnessed and helped us heal. All the family members that came out were hurting because of their missing or murdered loved ones. And they were there. Edie brushed them all off. All the elders sat there and witnessed it. And we felt very honored and we felt very supported. So thank you so much to Lately Tene. You should be proud.
Thank you so much, Brenda. Thank you. Looking over, no one at microphone 2 at this time.
We can have a break?
No one at microphone 1. So, shall we take a 5-minute stretch break and then we'll bring our executive director? Oh, there we are, someone at
It's kind
microphone
of too
1.
dark here, Kevin.
So, sorry, Reg?
It's too dark, you didn't see me.
Okay, I see you now. Regina Toth, microphone 1.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief and Council. Those were wonderful updates to the community, and it also supports that recent newsletter that went out. I commend all of the work that each of you have done. Also, your roles and responsibilities are numerous. Not only do you have your leadership role, you also have day jobs, and so it was really great to hear about that. In regards to the day jobs, I would like to know about the Tano Economic Development Corporation and which chief and council sit on the Economic Development Corporation as a director, and how does that work in terms of governance and business and your day jobs? I know it's really convoluted, being an Indian Act band, so it would be great to hear about that on that level. And I'll just ask this one question.
All right, thank you very much. And I'm looking to Chief and Council as to who would like to start to answer Reggie's question. Chief Logan?
Hi. Thanks, Reg. So I sit on as chair of the Tano Tene board, and I sit with Elaine Gagnon and Kenora Stewart. I was just a board member until I became chief, and then once the chief's elected, they get the chair. So that's how I moved up to be the chair. The Tano Tene, how it works with our jobs, I hold the economic development portfolio, so it goes hand in hand with what I do every day, and that's just trying to work with, like we work with Clyde Ventures, we work with, Tano Fuels, and the House of Ancestors, and that's how our day-to-day jobs are. My day-to-day job working with.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yes, Councillor Gagnon.
So just the way it works is we have elected policies and procedures. In our elected policies and procedures, it states that no chief or council shall sit on any board as a director, as an officer, or a president, anything. And that's something that we're looking at in our new terms of reference that are coming up, so that we're in compliance with that. Unless there's a BCR issued, which at this point there is not. But again, we are working on the term of reference, and hopefully that'll be done soon, so it'll be in line with the policies of the elected chief and council.
All right. Thank you very much for those responses. I see someone at microphone 1. Please introduce yourself and ask your question.
My name is Miranda Seymour. I am a granddaughter of the late Mary Gucci. I had a question about the UMBC agreement. If you happen to have a timeline of when Claytley band members can pursue a PhD through UMBC?
Oh, great question. Josh is Councillor Seymour will answer that.
Yeah, there we go. When we're looking at the agreement, this is something that we discussed in the policy because we noticed that the original NPP did have a cap on it. So there's a funding cap, which kind of limited the amount of students who could attend. So we thought about expanding that so that there wouldn't be as much of a restriction for Claytley students. And then we started discussing why was it capped at the bachelor's, Now, what the UNBC is working through is they have to go through their board of, the governance board, as well as looking at the requirements that would be needed. I can confidently say we would probably have the UNBC policy done before the end of the year, but for the master's and the PhD discussions that we're having, that probably won't be ready until September of 2025. That's going to be the healthy timeline. Hopefully we can get this going as quick as we can so that we can actually have, the first master's and the first PhD from Clayton at UNBC be within the next couple of years. And we want to ensure that we are not holding anybody back. If there's a potential there for master's and PhD programs, we're going to support you as much as we can because we do need more doctors, we need more masters. And I'm hoping that in this process, this will encourage a lot of the people who do not live in the territory to come home. So I can confidently say probably by September we'll know if that's if we can do that or not, because there's so many gray areas within UNBC's governance policy as well as ours to work through to make sure that this is successful. But I'm going to say September 2025 we'll have an answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councillor Seymour. Great question. Anybody at microphone 2? I don't see anyone there.
Hi, Kevin.
Microphone 1. Yes, sir.
Howdy. Clay Poutney. Just a quick question. In the last year, working for CGL and things like this, I'm noticing a lot of different nations coming in and essentially infringing within our territory. I know Nakazli's coming into downtown. The SIMP, we've always been kind of having a battle with them. NASCOR coming up from down south. So what are we doing? Are we being friends with these people, or are we actually telling them to back off? Because essentially whenever these nations are coming in, they're splitting our revenues coming in towards our people. So the more they claim up within our territory, the more we're losing out. So what is council doing to assert our rights within our territory?
All right. Thank you for that question. Chief Logan, please.
Thanks, Clay. Yeah, so we have been meeting with the chiefs and discussing their lines and trying to get them to because we all have statement of intent, our territories. We are trying to work with them. We had an actual disaster just last month in Valemont, where unfortunately a truck overturned and spilled 6,000 liters of acid. So we had our team go out there, and Valemont, or SIMP, came out there. So since then, SIMP has wants to come meet with council. They want to start a business with Clayton and SIMP for the cleanup areas. And as for the other nations creeping in forward, I know we were just as floored as everybody else. Turn around and so we're trying to get them to move their lines, but it's a fight between the First Nations and the governments. We're trying. We met with. I'm going to the federal government next week. I've spoke with the provincial governments about them encroaching on our areas and stuff, because that's the first thing we do is push our territory. But we have to push and fight with the provincial government, because they're the ones that are always saying, yeah, we agree, that's your territory. Yeah, we agree, you have strong statement of claim. And so it's a battle. It's always going to be a battle. And so far, SIMP and NASCO have both agreed to pull back their lines.
Okay.
Yeah, we just to follow up, because a lot of these nations are coming in with historians and ethnographers to look at historical documents to ensure that they have the rights to these territories. Are we doing anything of the same? Because we were previous.
Yes, we are. We're still working on that. We have our records clerk going through all the documentation, all through the treaty stuff, and we have Joshua at the museum trying to go through all of the paperwork and stuff. But unfortunately, we have a lot of them on tapes, and we're trying to figure out how to get them transcribed. And
perfect. Thanks. Yeah, I just want to ensure that our territory is being, guarded essentially.
We're fighting.
But
We're fighting.
Yeah.
We're fighting,
scrap
Clay.
them all.
Don't worry, we're fighting.
Thank you very much, Clay. I believe Councillor Seymour would like to speak to that as well.
Yes, thank you for the question, Clay. One of the things that we're focusing on now is there have been so many traditional use studies, traditional ecological knowledge studies, oral histories, place names projects, all the way dating back to, I think the earliest one I found was 1984. Now the issue there is that they're all within different areas. So when we're part of Carrick-County Tribal Council back in the 80s, they actually did a traditional use study, but they have that in their libraries. I know the museum, Exploration Place, does hold a lot of our histories, and I know that there are a lot of areas that have little pieces of our history that we could use towards defending our territory. And I can't stress how important it is that we defend our borders from other nations coming into our territory, because our ancestors died to protect these territories, and we're not going to sit by and let anybody come in and push into our territory. One of the things I would see as very would probably give us the strongest border would be incorporating the traditional use of the KOs. So a lot of families still have trap lands, but those are actually the KOs. So finding the information onto what trap lands or KOs each family has, and making sure that they're exercising their Aboriginal rights and title to hold their KOs so that they can practice their culture, and to also keep those other nations at bay, because when it comes to Aboriginal rights and title, the Indian Act is usually trumped by our rights as Indigenous people. So hopefully we can go back to that. Not only would it encourage us to go back to a cultural leadership, but also reconnect us back to our ancestors and our territories that we came from. Thank you, Clay.
Thanks, Councillor Seymour. I'm going to go to Councillor Gagnon, and one more question from microphone 1, and then we'll take a 5-minute stretch break. Councillor Gagnon.
So just to jump on that, piggyback off of that, Clay, I think the most important thing here is that we have a sovereignty declaration. Everybody has seen the sovereignty declaration. It's important that other nations know exactly what it entails. And whether that means going to every corner of the territory and putting up a sign and exerting our rights there, then so be it. But we need to start letting other nations know that their encroachment is causing an issue for us right now, and it's evident from people that are speaking to it in the population right now within our territory. So that's one of the commitments I think that we should be doing, is getting those declarations up so that people from other nations know you're in our territory and you have to respect that.
Great. Thanks, Councillor Gagnon. Question from microphone 1.
Howdy. Kim Gucci here. I would like to pose a question, and it's around communication, because I know that there is gaps in the way that we communicate as a nation. Not everybody's on Facebook. Not everybody has an email address. But we all have phones, and we're all here together, and I'm curious if there could be a survey done to the membership on how to best communicate, so that the information that is being shared here today isn't brand new news to everybody that's here, because unless you're on Facebook following the threads, and unless you're getting a newsletter often the day before an event, communication is a huge part of us. And Robert, when you talk about how we need to start communicating together, I think it's not just as a council, it's also as a nation. And we don't have a community center. We don't have a community hall. It's sad that we have to pay this amount of money in this space to gather because we don't have one for ourselves. And then we're faced with that disconnection as well. We're already disconnected by a river. How can we work together as a community so that we're communicating with each other? And if we could use other First Nations as examples, maybe do a survey or something so that we are covering all the bases. And we're all here, so obviously everybody got the message. So how did that happen, and how to make that work in a very productive way in the future?
Great.
So community is communication. They're like two words that go together. So, merci.
Thank you, Kim. Just before we ask Chief Logan and team to begin to answer that, Elder Phyllis raises a good point, and I'm hearing a lot of enthusiastic conversation going on at the tables. One of the issues with that, though, is our elders are having trouble hearing the responses from Chief and Council. So without wanting to limit communication and interaction, I would just ask everybody to kind of keep the noise down as low as you can, please, so that our elders can hear the responses from Chief and Council and the other speakers that are going to come throughout the day. Back to improving communication, Chief Logan.
Hi. Thank you, Kim. For those that I mentioned earlier, that was the lady that designed the hoodies that were given out. So as for communication, yes, we have, it's a work in progress. It always is. We have Facebook, we have our website. I guess we have a Facebook website. But lately, we do have this new app. This new app, you can get alerts, so whenever we post something on there, the alert, you'll get an alert, and if you open it up, and then it'll see what is going on. Quick, fast, and you don't have to be on Facebook, you just have to have an app on your phone, which is good, because I don't have Facebook. But communications is key, like for everyone. Like I said, we come here once a month, or once a year, and it's Wendy? Did you put your hand up?
Yeah. I'd also like to add, and thank you, Kim. I'd also like to add another thing that worked well this time around too is word of mouth. Like everybody here, you know, like and beyond, you know, like when we have an event or a function, there's always somebody that's going to tell their neighbor or their family. So please keep that going. You know, that's really awesome to have that as well, as word of mouth is awesome. Like, you know, this is the number you call. If you don't understand what time or dates or anything, then it'd be nice if you can all pass it around to your family members or even your neighbors. You know, hey, did you hear about this event? It's going to be on this date. If you don't know any information, call this number, which is also a great tool, is word of mouth. Just thought I'd let you know.
All right, I have Councillor Seymour and Councillor Gagnon who would like to add some of their thoughts, and then I've got something to share with you. Go ahead, Councillor Seymour.
I was just getting your attention for Robert.
So when it comes down to communication, yeah, Kim, you're absolutely right. And Wendy, you're right too, word of mouth. But I think, I used to live in a place called Notley-Witten, and the communication when it comes to gatherings and stuff like that is done very traditionally. They also mix today's modern technology with it as well. But when there's births, there's deaths, there's, you know, bathlats and that, they have smoking parties, like they have their clan system together. And I think that's something that we really, really need to start exploring again, because that brings us together as a community, and it creates a tightness that's unbreakable. And I think that's something that we really should start looking at again. I know it was looked at a few years ago, but we've kind of let it go by the wayside. So excellent point, Kim. Thank you so much for bringing that to our attention.
Thank you, Councillor Gagnon. Thank you, Chief and Council. Just before we go to break, Councillor Gibbs.
And I do, I'll just add to that, I do recall a while back that there was going to be call-outs to membership to see how they wanted to be communicated with. I can see it isn't quite there yet, but it needs to be, because I do know there is some of our membership that, you know, they're not online, and they like our newsletters to see what's going on with the band. So that call-out does need to occur.
Great. Thank you, Chief and Council. Just before we go to break, we talked earlier today and encouraged all members to fill out the questionnaire, either online or old school, where you get to fill the blanks out. And our fantastic Zawad Abadan, Director of Operations and Engineering, pointed out to me that in fact on page 2 of your questionnaire, there are several questions about how to improve communication. For instance, how would you rate the communication systems for the band members overall? And a few other questions along the lines that Kim raised. So please take time. Your responses are assessed and compiled by staff and then presented to your chief and council. This is one very effective way for you to inform chief and council as to what else you would like to see done to receive information and be able to provide feedback to chief and council between your annual general meeting. So please take time to fill it out either online or old school in paper. Let's give a good round of applause to your chief and council. We're taking a 5-minute break. You get 5 minutes to stretch. Oh, hang on. Oh, sorry, microphone 2. We don't have a light over there. Go ahead. Your name and question, please.
Elder Edie Frederick. I have 2 questions. One is on ban hoodies and swag with our logo on it. Would it be advisable if the Elder Society take this on and so we can raise money and sell hoodies and caps with our logo on it? Or would the band do it? Because people keep asking me where to get these things. And my second question is, the band gonna do anything about the church on the north side? It's falling down and it's like a landmark building.
Great. Thank you, Elder Edie. 2 good questions. Those will be the last before the break. I would turn to Chief and Council for some responses.
Hi. Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea if somebody could take on selling the swag. We do have to order more, and we have to order more elders jackets. We'll hopefully get on that soon. As for the church, last I heard it was at the Elder Societies. So I will have to get, I think they have a table here somewhere. If not, the Elder Societies walking around here, we could just ask them what they, I haven't been there, I haven't got an update yet on the church and what to do with it. Either repair it or repair it, and how much it's going to cost and how long would it take and who's going to do it. So.
Great, thank you, Chief. I have Councillor Gibbs and Councillor Seymour.
Thanks for the question, Edie. I can just add a little bit. I think it would be fantastic for the elders to raise money with our own staff. And I can tell you that with PG Tourism, they have been given some grant money where in the near future there will be some container markets set up, and that is what they will be looking for. So we can connect and get that going, because they'll be screaming for stuff, and I just think it would be an amazing opportunity for the society and for Clayton tonight.
Great, thank you, Crystal. Councillor Seymour.
Yeah, I agree with the swag. I think that'd be a great economic opportunity for the elders to raise funds. I think the only challenge that we would see is making sure that we have enough, because there'd be a lot of people who'd want to purchase that. So I think coming with a nice business plan that we could sit with Zawad or Tofik, because I know and Alan, because of their ability to create these business plans, it'd be easy to transition that from this thought to actually incorporating it. And when it comes to the church, I think the first step that we need to do is do a reassessment on the repairs that are needed and the cost. And also trying to get that guidance of what we're going to do with the church. Will it be a functioning church, or is it going to be a heritage site? So I think those are a lot of the questions that we need direction from the elders as your council before we move forward. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Seymour. Great question, Elder Edie. You're going to give you 5 minutes, then you'll come back. We're going to hear from our executive director, our financial department lead, and our accountant to see how you did in the past years. You're on a 5-minute break.
Hadi.
Hadi.
Hadi. It means hello.
Hadi.
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 Hadi. It means hello.
Hello and welcome.
Hello and welcome to our traditional territory.
Hadi.
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 Welcome to the unceded ancestral lands of the Clayton First Nations.
We have been here for thousands of years.
And we have welcomed visitors for thousands of years.
Hadi.
Hello and we welcome you to our territory.
Welcome to our territory.
We respectfully acknowledge
that we live, work, and play
on the unceded ancestral land
of the Clayton First Nation.
We respect the history, culture,
traditions,
and language
of the Clayton First Nation.
We will learn from our host First Nation.
We welcome members of other First Nations who call our territory home.
Hadi. We welcome other nations, Inuit and Métis people who call our territory home.
We welcome people from around the world who call Prince George home. Hadi.
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 Hello, and we welcome you to our territory.
Hadi.
Hadi, and welcome to the lands of the Clayton First Nations.
And if you're texting family and friends, please let them know we're about to resume your 2024 AGM. Again, members, we would just remind you that Chief and Council are here all day. You'll see them sitting at your table throughout the day. That'll give you a chance to speak with them one-on-one. You've got all lunch break, and you've got 4 more question and answer periods. So we think we've given you pretty good access to have a conversation with your elected leaders. All department managers up front. Oh, do we have a fisheries department manager? Please come forward, sir. I know he's kind of shy, but we would love all our members to know who's leading the key departments. And former Chief Dominic Frederick running our fisheries department. Yeah, well, I know. We'll go. Missing Tashina Seymour, please report to the front of your AGM hall. Tashina Seymour. Yeah, I know. And, you know, 5-minute warning is a 5-minute warning, right, Tanya? Thank you. We haven't developed the Claytly Contact Every Member app yet, but please text family and friends, let them know we are about to resume. We've got an executive director report and then some interesting financial information to share. Thank you, Tamara. Come on in, members, if you can hear me out in the lobby. Oh, Tashina Seymour finally shows up. Okay. You gotta love her, eh? Oh, okay. It was a good excuse. She was looking after member needs. Well, that is why we're here. Oh my goodness, Benga, natural resources. Hello, departmental managers, work with me, people. I know it's another colonial call to. All right, here we go. We are on a mission now to get you through to lunch break. Got a couple of important things to do. So let me start, please, by calling on your newly minted, recently appointed Executive Director, Mr. Tofik Islam. One more reminder, thank you, Tofik. Please keep the conversation at your tables down so that our elders can hear clearly all of the, oh, hang on. And the Civic Center staff, when you're working with our refreshments and all the goodies, please keep that noise down as well. We've got elders throughout the hall, and we would love them all to hear you clearly. All right, here you go. Please welcome our new Executive Director, Mr. Tofik Islam.
Hardy Clayton members, good morning. Thank you so much for coming, and I am really very grateful to be here as your Executive Director for the nation. You have heard from Chief and Council about the amazing work and progress of Clayton in past year. I will add some administrative matter that we have been working on, and we got some progress on that. And before saying that, I would like to say something about myself. So I have started my journey with Clayton during 2018 in finance department. I worked in different positions as finance manager, CFO, director of finance and compliance. And since November 2021, I have started working as deputy executive director. There my role was like finance and administration. So it's a great pleasure to work you as an executive director for now. And I am really thankful to Chief and Council for appointing me for this position. So here I need to say you something. So success doesn't come in lone working. So it definitely is a teamwork. And I am so glad we have a great team working in Clayton. I am so grateful to our department managers and our all staff members who have been working restlessly for this nation. When there is anything that we need to take care, our staff, they move forward, no matter what, no matter the timeline, we are dedicatedly completed. Bravo to our managers, bravo to our staff. So the remarkable development that we have achieved in past year are included but not limited to reporting to membership. We know that being a 10-year grant band, major of our reporting is to our membership. So we make sure that the reporting requirements are completed on time. We are still in progress, but can assure you that we are on track. So that is including newsletter that we have been publishing regularly on time, annual reports, events update in social media. We make sure that all events and everything is updated on social media and website. We have started live streaming of Chief and Council meeting and in-person presence of membership in the council meeting. So that allows us like direct feedback from the membership for anything they want in council meeting. So that is an excellent progress we made in the last few months. New policy and procedure. So the administration helped council to develop the band member support policy, and it was approved end of February 2024. Since then, we have provided a numerous number of supports to our membership, and this is an excellent policy. We can, it is posted website, it has been posted in Facebook, and 3 of our department managers are working together for different segment of this band support policy program, band member support policy program. Housing policy. We are in a final stage of completing the housing policy, and pretty soon we're going to present it to the council for their review and approval. Education policy, as previously Councillor Seymour and Councillor Gibbs mentioned, they've been working on the education policy, and it is in the final phase now. And there is an agreement going on with UNBC and CNC. Health policy and procedure. We are in process of developing health policy and procedure as well. So another thing is like we have been doing since last few months, department restructuring, putting effective internal control in place and enhancing the level of service to the membership. So how this is happening? So I'm going to go through the department to let you know how we are making it happen. Health department, first of all, led by Tamara Seymour, health manager. So one of our most efficient manager for Cledley-Tinay, managing more than 25 programs in Cledley-Tinay. Also, like not only for the health, Tamara is also managing the health-related travel to memberships, provide their support promptly. Also, the health department is in a process to recruit a licensed practical nurse, LTN, to enhance the level of service of the department. Public Works Department and Housing Department, led by Derek Bolen. Public Works Department is being led by Housing Manager Derek Bolen, having a team of young fellas in the department. They have already displayed the positive changes, including prompt snow removal, spring cleanup, and scheduling garbage collection in the community. The Housing Department has been extensively working on all funding opportunities to construct more and affordable houses for membership. At this moment, the Housing Department is in the process of preparing the site for 3 tiny homes under the modular housing pilot project and other 3 houses renovation project. Thanks, Derek. The next one is like our capital project and asset management department, led by Jawad Abidin, our Director of Engineering and Operations. This department is engaged with multiple operations like IT, capital project, asset management, and maintenance. So the major project Jawad is working on, Ancient Forest. It is in finalizing tender documents for the Ancient Forest, broad work and refining plans for the interpretive center. The Fraser River Bridge project has been made progress with productive meeting at federal and provincial government level regarding funding and completed preliminary design and feasibility analysis for the $45 million bridge. The community wastewater system, we got our money, $6.5 million is in our bank account. So within a few weeks, the work will start in North Side. The new membership app. So Kevin previously mentioned, Councillor previously mentioned that the app has been launched, and membership can get that app access to their Android or Apple devices. And the information you can get from Capital Project Asset Management display table. The Infrastructure Asset Management Portal will streamline service request and is set to launch this year as well. On-reserve members will be able to put the service request through the portal. It is like City of Prince or something like that. The water upgrade project design, including fire mitigation system, is ongoing and expected to be completed by fall. Thank you, Jawad. The next one is like our long-awaited emergency management that we never had one. So led by Adam is here. Adam is also our IT manager. So we have established this new department. Adam Itier is managing this department side by side with IT. We have already took some steps which include but not limited to in process to procure emergency equipments as approved by the council. Actively engaged with regional district for a comprehensive fire service agreement for North Side. An initial containment crew is being established at North Side. Development of comprehensive emergency management plan is in progress for the band. We are working together with local and regional government side by side for emergency preparedness. Economic Development Department, led by Alan Stewart and Rowan Paulsen, has joined recently as Economic Development Officer. The major project that Economic Development Department is currently working on are Enbridge Sunrise Project, BC Hydro Equity Transaction, Fortescue Project, RBS Project, and new revenue sharing agreement with Tyrod, completed the revenue sharing agreement with Tyrod Industries, Integral Service Group, Canadian Dewatering, Crest Insulation, Northwest All West Crane and Rigging Company, Prestige Hotel Group. The Economic Development Department also are working on acquisition some properties in and around Prince George. Economic Development Department secured a grant of $860,000 towards the award-winning /2 aviation project in collaboration with LTN Contracting, RBOs, and Canfor. Thanks, Alan. Now, Fisheries Department, led by Fisheries Manager Dominic Frederick. The Fisheries Department secured a multi-year funding of $3 million for restoration of the Chilako project. In addition to that, Fisheries Department took an extensive training program for all fisheries crews, and the fisheries crew, we are expecting that we'll have an excellent skilled crew set by next year. Thanks, Domo. Children and Family Development Department. Tashina Seymour, led by Tashina Seymour, Family Development Department works frontline with membership and provide their services. This department is now reviewing the new funding model of First Nation jurisdiction of our Child and Family Services. So this is the new model. Recently, Tashina and our finance manager, Nasir Ahmed, went for a conference to see the model, how this would work. We are working on that. Job development and capacity development, led by Barbara Allen, working with funding agency PEGNATA, Barb Allen provides market job opportunities and information and funding support for membership training. Barb has secured an additional of $283,000 last year from province to provide membership and staff training purpose. So most of the fund will be spent for membership training. Lands Department, led by Tania Salonas. In addition to regular activities, Lands Department has been working to develop the environmental management plan, and there is a survey going on too. Surveying the lands, updating the lands plan, land use plan, land code amendments, zoning law, animal control law, etc. The major project Tania is working on. Thanks, Tania. Natural Resource Department, led by Benga Iron Solar. In addition to natural resource and referral activities, Benga has been working on the following major projects in Cledlitina territory: Land Guardian Program, Land Restoration, Angus Project with Vital Minerals, JX LNG Summit Lake Project. Our next one is Education Department. So our regular education manager is in long-term sick leave. So Jawad Abidin has been temporarily leading this department. As I stated earlier, the education policy is in a final stage now. The Education Department is looking for all avenue of funding security the agencies in order to meet the growing post-secondary funding requirement. Thank you so much to LTN Contracting and Glenn Bjorkland for contributing to the Cledlitina education program. A big applause to Glenn Bjorkland. Social Assistance Department. Wendigel has been managing this department program for so long. The administration has been working with ISK to increase the funding allocation for increasing need of social assistance. We have received some positive feedback from ISK already. HR department. Confidence Ben, our HR manager. So this is a department that we have been missed so long because we need proper human resource practice, employee retention, employee recruitment, and especially like the employees are being treated and all employment law are enforced. So Confidence Bean is our HR manager. Human resource has been formed since April 2023. We have been exercising labor code and credit in a human resource policy effectively since then in order to mitigate any potential lawsuit that we have experienced in past. We don't want it in future. All departments have prepared the department updates. Please stop by the table and collect their brochure. There are so many good information for you, so many resources for you that you can aware of. Later, we'll be hearing from our new finance manager and our auditor about the solid financial position of Cledlitine. This is a good time to talk about something a little bit about Tenotine. Doug also has been effectively managing the Teno fuel. So we are seeing some development there. The House of Ancestor is good hand with crystal gifts and their Bannock is very famous in the city. House of Ancestors has been getting busy with lot of events. Chelton Jalaben RPF has recently joined as a resource manager and has been making great contribution in the revenue from forestry resources. We are in a process to keep the business in arm's length from the band. We know everything starts with finance. We have hired an accountant, Lance Ackland. Lance in the back somewhere. So we have started to separate the activities from band. So Lance, we started with finance. Lance gonna do all financial activities for the Teno. During end of April 2024, Council has approved Tenotine governance policy and terms of reference as presented by the Board of Directors. The Board of Directors will be hiring a qualified and experienced CEO for Tenotine all business. Because we have been providing services from band, the Executive Director has been the CEO for the Tenotine. So I am still acting, providing temporary support, but near future, the Board of Directors will hire their own CEO and it will be operated in arm's length, total arm's length capacity from the band. It is very important to provide day-to-day management service adequately to the business entities, which we expect the new CEO would be able to provide in near future, eventually making successful each entity of Tenotine. And those success mean greater benefits for Cledlitine members. In a short word, I am so busy with Cledlitine government operation, I don't have much time to spare my time to Tenotine. At this moment, we are in a process that in near future we're going to do. I'm in a process to in contact with electoral officer for 2025 Cledlitine general election. So I already got offers from different electoral officers. I'm going to put them together and in a duly convened council meeting which will be live streamed. Excuse me. The council will review and select their next electoral officer. It will be in a very transparent way. Customs election code. Sonia Pegin, sitting on my left, will be presenting after lunch today. Sonia Pegin printed a document. Printed document are with Tammy and Kim. It's on my right in the registration desk. Please stop by and grab the package from them. Capacity building, securing all available funding in market, effectively manage and fund towards increasing the level of service. So this is something like previously we are not able to get all available funding due to our capacity. We are having a plan to hire a person or like a existing employee who gonna actively participating to apply for all funding opportunities, and basis on we have the money, we can hire and recruit and enhance the service level of our membership for the band. Growth in economic development activities. Enhancing the service level of health, family development, social assistance, housing, maintenance, and public works department, who work with membership in frontline. We have already put a very effective system in place. Lastly, I would like to share a great news with you all. Clayton has achieved First Nation Finance Authority membership pursuant to the First Nation Fiscal Management Act. Being borrowing member of FNFA, Clayton has an ability to borrow up to $67 million, which is more than net worth of the band. Not every First Nation in Canada have that access to that. So, this FNFA membership is another historic milestone we have achieved, started from FMP certification and then AFOBC Best Practice Award. Thank you all honorable members, staffs, and my dear colleagues, my department managers, for attending the AGM in this long May weekend. I am open to some questions now and will turn back to our facilitator and wait for your question from the floor. Also, I will be here for the rest of the day if you wish to discuss something specific or have questions about Clayton operations. Thank you. Merci.
Sorry, hang on, Tofik. Tamara Seymour wants to occupy my time. Apparently it's communications looking after health. Anyway, I don't know where this comes from in Clayton protocol. Could we hear it for Tofik Islam, our new executive director, and our departmental managers? Absolutely. And Christine and Larissa, of course, doing a fabulous job. Absolutely. Neil and family, thank you so much. Any questions at this time for Mr. Islam? Going once, twice. You'll have some time throughout the day, of course, to do questions and answers. And as Tofik has said, he will be here all day, as will our fabulous departmental managers to answer all your questions. Going once, twice. Let's hear it for Tofik Islam and the fabulous Clayton team. And Tamara Seymour, of course, who is a bit needier than some of the other. And of course, Tashina Seymour, who never gets back to my text. But anyway, the Seymour team, the Clayton team, thank you very much. Let's give them a hand before we hear about your finances. Okay, I've got draw prizes too. All right, Nasser, you get ready to come up for your financial report. All right, we promised that in keeping with Clayton tradition, it isn't just about information sharing and questions, it's about prizes. So our first two winners of what we call administrative prizes, which is your names were entered when you registered. So when you hear your names called throughout the day, please see Tammy or Kim. We have Jesse Bassett. Jesse is a prize winner, first of the 2024 AGM. And then I have a Mr. Brian, I'm going to go with Nesso, if that's the right pronunciation. And I always apologize in advance if I don't get your names just exactly right. So we have Brian and Jesse, the first two prize winners of the day and your AGM. All right, members. Here we go with always the funnest, interesting presentation is how well are you doing? Please welcome your new financial lead, Mr. Nasir Ahmed, to start us off. Oh, come on, we can give him more of a hand than that. Very sharp dressed financial guy, I would say, right?
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning, honorable members of LTN. Thank you for joining this AGM 2024. It is really an inspiring event for me as the finance manager of your band and having the opportunity to present the financials in front of you. Our today's financial presentation is divided in two parts. In first part, Ms. Adriana Johnson from DMC Chartered Professional Accountants will present the audited financial reports for financial year ended 31st March 2023. In the second part, I will present the unaudited reports for the financial year ended 31st March 2024. Now I would like to invite Adrienne to start her presentation.
Thank you for having me. My name is Adrienne Johnston, and I am from DMC Chartered Professional Accountants. Today, I am going to present the audit report, a summary of the revenues and expenditures for the 2023 fiscal, a summary of the assets and liabilities of the nation as of March 31st, 2023. I'm going to discuss the Indigenous Service Canada ratios and present a 7-year trend analysis. As mentioned, we did audit the financial statements of the nation for the year ending March 31st, 2023. Chief and counsel are responsible for these financial statements, and it is the responsibility of DMC to issue an opinion on those financial statements. I am pleased to say that this year, we have given an unqualified opinion, which means that all areas of the financial statement are presented fairly. This unqualified opinion is the result of the Tano Group and all entities under the Lheidli Nations umbrella having audit procedures performed on them. We did submit the audit to Indigenous Service Canada in August, and our plan is to submit the 2024 financial statements by July 29th. Here I present the revenue by type. Overall revenue has increased by $10 million when compared to the prior year. This is due primarily to the settlement funds from Enbridge. Indigenous service revenue was $2.8 million, and this is a reduced amount from the prior year due to a reduction in the capital project funding. Provincially, the revenue was $6.5 million, which is an increase from the prior year of $4 million. And these revenues consist of the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, Province and BC contract, and other such funding. Your own sources of revenue consist of rental income, administration fees, and income from the Tano businesses, and this has been reduced this year. The reduction is due to the Camphor contract with Tano Tene LP being overpaid in the prior years and resulting in a clawback. Other Aboriginal groups' revenue, which consists of the First Nation Health Authority, Pignata, and Finesk, is $950,000. This is decreased from the 2021 and 2022 fiscal years due to significant funding from the First Nations Health Authority for the health center building. In terms of your expenditures, the majority of the expenditures are related to tuition and allowance, repairs and maintenance, professional fees, wages and benefits, and member distributions. There's also amortization, which is the recognizing the useful life of your capital assets within each fiscal period. Most funded programs, such as education, health, and housing, are breaking even, which is beneficial from a funding standpoint. Your own sources of revenue and economic development is where the majority of the profits are being generated from. These are the First Nations assets. They are presented as at March 31st and represent a snapshot. Their short-term deposits consist of a new GIC and investments of the Enbridge funds for those who are under 19. Restricted cash consists of the CMHC replacement reserves, assets owned by LTN businesses consists of the Tano Field loan. And then the investments in LTN businesses also consists of the Tano LP, Tano GP, and Tano Fuel. On the other side of your balance sheet is your liabilities. The accounts payable consists of the day-to-day payments, holdbacks for the health center, and the wages payable at March 31st. Distribution payable to minors consists of the sum of funds that are owed to minors once they reach the age of 19. The deferred revenue are funds that are to be spent in the 2024 fiscal and consists primarily of Indigenous Service Canada funding and provincial funds not yet spent at March 31st. Long-term debt consists of the mortgages held by the nation, and the replacement reserves are for the CMHC housing. The adjusted liquidity ratio measures your ability to pay your current debt with your current assets. When we calculate this ratio, we're using current assets of cash and accounts receivable and those owned by government funders. For debt, we are considering accounts payable and deferred revenue. Your ratio is very strong. It is over 3 times the benchmark, and you should be proud of it. The sustainability ratio shows how the nation has performed over the year and whether or not operations can be sustained. The ratio continues to be steady, around 3.5, and is well above the benchmark. Over the last 7 years, the income trend has been to grow and grow, while the expenses continue to be below the income. Our cash and short-term cash are growing steadily over the last 7 years. The biggest jump this year was due to the GICs that were invested in. Financial assets and non-financial assets continue to grow. Your liabilities over the last 7 years have remained fairly steady and below your assets. In other words, you have sufficient assets to meet all of your liabilities. Are there any questions?
Well, first off, how about a fantastic hand for that excellent report? You're in great financial shape. And Nasser and Adrian will take some questions now. If I could ask members to use microphone 1 and or 2 if you have any questions about your finances. Again, Nasser for sure is going to be here throughout the day, and you always can email Nasser with questions. You don't have to wait for AGM. You can do that anytime if you have a question about any of the financial reporting. And of course, that's all posted on your website so that you have access to your financial information anytime. The which one? Oh, Nasser, he floats around, Councillor. Oh, yeah, he's everywhere, I tell you. These financial folks, they are responsive, flexible, they move where they're needed. I don't see anyone at microphone 1. Don't see anyone at microphone 2. All in favor of letting these 2 go, and again, they're available. Oh, just a sec.
Kevin.
We have another part.
Kevin,
Sorry, hang on, please, Regina. Nasser first, please. Thanks. Go ahead, Nasser. You want Regina's question? Okay.
Yes, please go ahead.
Go ahead.
Thanks. The first page for 2023 had settlement in the orange graph. For 2023, what would that settlement be referring to?
No, you want? I can do. Yeah, it was an bridge settlement in August 2022. We disbursed 9.8 million from the 11 million settlement we received, and rest of the money is kept for the under 19 members who are on that list, and it is being disbursed on their 19th birthday.
Okay, I've got that. And also in the following page shows some deferred settlement dollars for minors.
Yes, that's the one.
Is there any policy around that on how that gets applied?
Yeah. That money, we have a list. We have an approved, council-approved list for the under 19 members, and we keep the money in a separate GIC account, and we earn the revenue, interest revenue on that. And when someone's 19th birthday appears, week before, we process a check. We give their 15,000 basic money plus the interest we calculate from August 2022 to his 19th birthday. We calculate the day and we divide the how much interest we earned from August 2022 to his 19th birthday, and we disburse with the child.
That's excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. Thanks, Regina. Anyone at microphone 2? I don't see anyone. No one back here. Oh, Jen at microphone 1.
Sorry, on that last topic, their funds are held in GICs?
Yes.
So that'll generate interest as well as some revenue?
No, it's interest revenue in form of interest. Kind of like we ask our bank how best rate we can get, and we invest for that, and we give the interest earned entire amount to the members.
Okay, so there's no additional revenue made on the GICs?
No, so it's just invested as GIC. Thank you for your question.
Thanks, Jen. Last call for questions at this time for Nasser or Adrian. Seeing none. Can we give, Tofik. No. All right, so Nasser, back to you for more financial information. Yeah. There you go.
I'd like to thank Adriana and DMC team for their amazing work and their nice presentation on the strength of our financials. And now I'm going to present the unaudited financials for the period of March 2023 to April 2023 to March 2024. So we'll be seeing different particulars, and we'll be comparing current year's data with last year's data, and we'll comparing with the budgeted data as well. Let's start with the revenue line. Our current year's revenue is 23.8 million, and our current year's expenditure is 16 million, which left us with a surplus of 7.7 million. And in our expenditure of 16 million, we spent 2.4 million for the capital projects. If we add that back, our actual operating surplus is 10.2 million. And now you are seeing the last year numbers. Total revenue was 27 million, total expenditure was 20 million, and surplus was 6.6 million. And if we compare current year and last year, in this year, our surplus is increased by $3.5 million. And our budgeted amount for the year 2023-2024 was 29 million as revenue, 26.2 million as expenditure, and budgeted surplus was 3.4 million. So when we compare budget with the actual results, it's leaving us favorable of $6.7 million in this last fiscal year. Moving on, we will be presenting this financial position as of 31st March 2024. And again, we'll be comparing particulars of current year with the last year. This year, our total current asset is 11.2 million, total liability is 3.3 million, total net current asset is 7.9 million. Total other assets, which is our investments in subsidiaries and GICs, is 41.7 million. Total fixed asset is 15 million. And all this is part of our net asset, which is altogether 64.7 million. And it is being compared with our equity, 12.1 million, retained earning, 44.7 million, and the current surplus, which we saw in the last previous slide, 7.7 million, is the total 64.7 million, which is the worth of the band today. And let's see the last year's number now. Our net current asset was 15.3 million. Our total other asset was 26.6 million. And total fixed asset was 15 million. So our net asset was 57.09 million. And our equity, retained earnings, and current surplus altogether, total equity was 57.09 million. And if we see the difference, this fiscal year, our total financial position is in favorable by 7.6 million. I mean, 7.6 million worth has been increased in this fiscal year. My next slide is on the treasury comparison for last 3 years. These numbers will be in $1 million for better understanding. So in March 2022, our operating bank balance was 5.24 million. Our total GIC and PI investment was 7.56 million. So total bank balance was 12.79 million. In March 2023, operating bank balance was 8.05. GIC and PI investment was 11.05 million. Altogether, it was 19.10 million. And it was a 59% increment from year 2022 to 2023. And this is this recently ended year's figures, which is operating bank balance 10.08 million, and GIC and PI investment is 14.7 million, altogether $24.7 million, which is 30% increment from last year. And this is a graphical presentation. You can see the line is upward. Thank you. And this is Tano's, Tano Limited Partnerships Treasury comparison for last 3 years, again in $1 million. And in March 2022, it was 0.78 million as bank balance, 6.73 as GIC and PA investment. Altogether, it was 7.5 million. In March 2023, it was altogether 8.99 million, which was 20% increment from year 2022. And in March 2024, now altogether it is 13.77 million, which is 53% increment from the last year. And this is the real sharp line, which is again upward. That's all small, brief information from our finance desk. And I'm here for all the day. If you have any particular questions, especially from this book, I hope you all get one from your gift bag. And if not, you can collect it from our finance desk. If you have any question, please feel free to reach me. And another information I would like to share, which is our annual audit. Our annual audit is approaching soon, and auditor will start their field work during early June 2024, means next month. So if you have any instant question,
All right, thanks. Let's hear it for Nasser and the finance team at Clayton. Those numbers, I wish my retirement savings would look that good. Mr. Tawfiq Islam has a couple of comments, and then we'll be open to questions for Nasser. Tawfiq, please come to the podium. Thanks again, Nasser, and the hard-working Clayton finance team.
That's an amazing number. So I just want to a little bit information. So say you walk into a grocery store, you have $4 in your pocket, but you need just $1 to buy something, a candy, something like that. For each $1 of candy, you have $4 to purchase. That is how rich we are. Our liquidity ratio is like more than 3%, 3 times over that what is the benchmark. Our sustainable ratio, that is like 6 times of the normal. That means if we need this much of our sustain, we have this much. So we are in very good strength of financial situation. So I would like to add one more information here, that finance department is the heart of any organization. Your finance, I have been working since 2018, and finance is my background. So I think like during January, the Chief and Council has appointed Nasir Ahmed as your finance manager for the band. So let me tell you about a little bit background of Nasir. Nasir has an extensive experience of more than 15 years in financial management background. He worked in different places in the world, including Dubai and then in Toronto as well. And he has a CMA designation from back home. He completed his master's degree, and also he is a Bachelor of Law certificate, Bachelor of Law. So he has an amazing educational background with extensive practical experience in finance. He has already proved his ability to lead the finance team. And we have, in addition to Nasir, Constance is working in finance as well as finance officer, and we have Lance in for Tenno accountant. So great team for finance. Your finance is in good hand. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Tawfiq. Thank you, Nasser. We've got a couple of minutes before lunch break for questions to Nasser. And I see we have someone. Could I have a light at microphone 1, please? There we are. Jen's at microphone 1. Your question, please.
Hi, yes, Jennifer Piggin. I'm just curious if you could elaborate on some of the partnerships we have that are bringing in revenue for a lot of our new members and for myself, because I'm not familiar with all of these different corporations, like Fly Ventures, Shas Resources. Some people might not know what LTN is, so I think it would help to have membership be more aware of who these are, how our relationships are with them.
Great question. Thank you, Jen.
I will answer that question for Nasir. Nasir seek help from me. So definitely, the auditor that presented the earning from business entities of Clayton, so those are the business entity. Clayton Development Corporation, LTN, then Fly Venture, all those revenue has been incorporated in the bank's financial statement. So thank you so much for the question. Lance will be taking the question, and we'll answer all those questions in our Clayton website within a week or like by 2 weeks. We're gonna disclose all information, who is business entity and how much, what is their bottom line. Thank you.
Okay, thanks so much, Tawfiq. No one at microphone 1, no one at microphone 2. Great. Let's hear another great Clayton support for our finance team. Nasser, thank you. Tawfiq, team. Adrian from DMC. Keep up the great work. Can't wait to see the numbers next spring, that's for sure. Thank you so much. Just before we take a break for lunch, could I have Elder Les Baker join me here on stage for a little bit of a blessing? And you can blame Tammy Gibbs for that. Don't chew the facilitator out, buddy, here. Les Baker, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Before I get started, I'd like to thank Chief and Council for hiring such good workers for our nation, with Tofik, Benga, Nasir, everybody. They have such great credentials and they seem to be doing such a fine job. So just to send a thank you out to Chief and Council and to everybody for doing such a good job. So before we head for lunch, they've asked me if we could start with a prayer. And I don't subscribe to any organized religion, but I know there are a lot of religions out there and a lot of people that do subscribe to them. So at this point, I would like to ask everybody to stand up, and we'll give a moment of silence so everybody can give thanks or prayers or well wishes to whatever deity, God, or creator they believe in. Okay, thank you, everyone. And we'll start with the elders for lunch first, if we could. And hope everybody enjoys it as much as they enjoyed their breakfast.
Thanks, Les. And during lunch, we also have a very special presentation. We'll get to that, but as Les has directed, let's ask our elders or the elder assistants to ensure our elders are first looked after during lunch service, and then the rest of us will take our turns as space and time allow. All right, you can relax for a little bit and actually have fun. One more time, Christine and Larissa doing a great job. Yes. All right, you guys get a break too.